Herzlich willkommen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Pop-Up My Bathroom magazine. Now we're in for some exciting news. It's all about hygiene. Just before, we talked about the fact that hygiene is moving towards the center of our daily living. And the question of how clean is my bathroom is interesting. When it comes to our own bathroom, this is a rather small context, but what happens in public bathrooms or semi-public bathrooms, this is the flip side of the coin. With the worldwide introduction of new hygiene measures, intelligent concepts are beginning to play a key role in all areas, either in your private lives or in the public realm. And the product innovation of the sanitary heating and air conditioning industry has some solutions available, because in the public realm and also in the private realm, things will change. Modern sanitary products, and I like to point out some things. Yesterday we awarded an innovation prize for such a product and for architecture and technology. That's the shower toilet. And the question is whether the shower toilet may not be the future of personal hygiene. What lies behind this? And now I'll give the floor to two people who are experts in these matters. We have Jens Wischmann with us. He's the managing director of the Association of the German Sanitary Business, and Frank Reinhardt. He's also with us today. He is a journalist and a trend researcher at Phelps Consulting.
Ja, herzlich willkommen wieder bei Pop-Up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pop-Up My Bathroom, our magazine. We would like to speak about hygiene. It's unusual because hygiene has always been a topic for the bathroom. Nobody focused on it very much, though. And right now, we find there are certain topics that we don't have to talk about. This has been overcome, like the pandemic or similar things, but things come back. Things return in a different shape and size, and hygiene has become all the rage again. I'd like to welcome Dr. Peter Arens. In the past, he used to work for the German Copper Institute, and now he is senior consultant hygiene manager. He deals with rules of DVGA, VDI, DIN. He deals with water, drinking water. He's an expert in all of these matters, and he can explain things too. And he is a microbiologist, and he can give us a profound expert opinion. Then Mr. Engel from Geberit is sales director. He always likes discussing things with us. He grew up in building services, engineering. He is a key account planner, and he deals with technology behind the wall, in front of the wall, water. That's part of his DNA. And this also goes for his company, Geberit. Then Frank Reinhardt. He's a good friend and partner when setting up this trend for Pop-Up My Bathroom. And when it comes to looking at all these topics, he knows the products. He has a background in the industry, and he is not just into design, but functional design too. And I'd like to ask you the first question. Now we have a smart bathroom, living bathroom. We worked with sustainability, green bathrooms, and so on. Why not a trend for hygiene? Why have we never talked about it? Well, today we're talking about the trend or this topic of hygiene. And trend researchers tend to talk about trend drivers. Hygiene is something that we have talked about for a long time. In different cultures, this topic has been treated differently. But now with the pandemic, it's all about hygiene, of course. And hygiene is definitely a driver, and it has a bearing on other trends too, like living bathroom, it has an effect on that, or green bathroom, hygiene has an effect on that. So we tend to call this a trend driver. What are the effects or developments that are triggered by hygiene? Well, I'd like to talk about hygiene in general. What does it do to the bathroom today, also when it comes to drinking water? Peter, you have been looking at these matters from your point of view, from your position in the company. What is the effect of the pandemic? Does it have an impact on what is being asked of you? Has Corona given a boost to hygiene as a topic? Definitely. Definitely. We sell many more electronic fittings. That's easy to understand. Maybe you haven't, maybe maybe your hands are dirty, you open the tap, and then after you, somebody else touches the tap, and then people get contaminated. A touchless fitting makes a lot of sense from the microbiological point of view. Now, infections from surfaces are not as bad as aerosols. We touch our face very often, but when it comes to drinking water, what's happening there? There have been some new amendments to drinking water regulation, and this has moved into the focus of the manufacturers. I tend to assume that the water coming from the tap is okay. Has this changed? What has changed that people start talking about it anymore? Well, the water up to the water counter is of a very high quality. What happens in the household depends on your use. If you don't use enough of it, then bacteria that always exist. It's a natural element for bacteria, and bacteria are to be in the water. They can propagate just too much, and we have 30,000 infections due to Legionella. They lead to pneumonia. 10 to 15,000 people die of this in Germany. And when you don't use the water enough during these times of COVID-19, that's a problem. There are few people in office buildings. What happens when you come back? The water has to be exchanged. Otherwise, you can get germs in the water. And by flushing the pipes, you can achieve a lot. Now, is it so bad? Now, more people are in the home office and the office buildings, there's less flushing. Does this lead to Legionella automatically, or is it something that happens sometimes? Well, Legionella can be prevented from occurring if you stick to the rules of the art. Cold water needs to be cold, warm water warm, and you need a change of the water in the pipes. Every 3 days, we need to change the water. And this is stipulated in the rules. And in the lead, every 72 hours, the water needs to change. Otherwise, you get too many bacteria. And this can lead to these Legionella. And there are some framework conditions. You need to breathe in the Legionella or the water vapor. But buildings that have been empty for 4 weeks need to be flushed. The water needs to be flushed, and that's cumbersome. And the regulation says if you don't flush the water regularly, if you don't drain the water regularly, it's a criminal offense. That's what the law book says. So what are the technical possibilities for making sure that you fulfill the demands of the law? Besides that, are there ways that you can comply with this by installation? Yes, there are areas that we can influence as an industry. And this is the planning and the installation of such systems. We as manufacturers need to make products that are reasonable and function well so that everything that Peter Arens mentioned becomes necessary. The right dimensioning of the pipes, the possibility of making sure the water can be drained even though people are not in their office, in the office building. We need flushing solutions that exist in different ways. For instance, we have a system that allows for this, And for large plants, we have such solutions, networked systems in hospitals, and so on. And they provide for this drainage and flushing, and we can make sure it works. And we can ensure it works, and the tradesman can make sure it works. I'm not sure about the operators. This goes for professional operators and private citizens, and we need to make people aware. Most people don't know that every 72 hours they need to drain the water. And maybe the installer should tell their customers, by the time they finished installation, because at the beginning everything looks nice, and maybe the fitters should say, okay, to make sure this stays this way, you have to make your contribution. Yeah, maybe a manual as to how to use the bathroom correctly. It's sustainable, it's healthy, it's hygienic, but this means that the water must flow constantly, must circulate. You must have a constant circulation, and that's the best prevention for any bad germs. Now, sometimes I say technology creates problems. I'm not talking about your technology, of course, but by using new materials in buildings, new used concepts, has the problem with water become worse, or does this just mean that people focus on this more than in the past? I think it's a mix of both. Today, we know a lot more about drinking water hygiene than we did in the past, and we have ever bigger buildings. We have a bathroom for guests in our own private homes, bathrooms for people visiting 2 or 3 times a year. So these luxury installations lead to a situation that there's certain draw-off points where you don't really drain the pipes anymore, and the water stagnates there. And if I don't use the water mains for 6 weeks because I'm on a holiday, then I endanger the water supply in the other apartments, because there's a contact between the water of my apartment and the water of other apartments. And the fitting should realize, okay, it's 72 hours, nobody has drawn off water, so I need to flush automatically. And then you would get the right water quality and maintain it. So if I tell my neighbor, please go to the bathroom, flush the toilet, I mean, that would probably increase the water cost, but it would help my safety and his safety. And I think this is something that we should inform people about. We should tell people it's good, it's safe, but make sure that your user behavior makes sure that the water remains safe without Legionella. So what does this mean in terms of costs? I calculated this for Düsseldorf with the real wastewater and drinking water costs. If somebody flushes 30 liters of water every 3 days, then this would cost €1.008. So it's negligible. Drinking water is very cheap, and this includes water and wastewater treatment, but this gives me the guarantee that once I come back from a holiday, my water is clean, and we should, pay for this. Now, we heard about water consumption responsibility. Many consumers ask me, how about saving water? And isn't there a contradiction? On one hand, I'm supposed to consume less water. On the other hand, I'm supposed to flush the pipes. It's like squaring the circle, What is your position from the expert point of view? Well, this is a good topic. Peter Arens just mentioned this. What's decisive is that I use what I have to use to make sure that my pipes stay in a good or have a good hygienic status. And we can create this, and this is not very expensive. If you don't do it, if you don't invest this €1 during your holidays, then after 2 or 3 years, you have contaminated piping, and this has to be cleaned with extremely hot water or activated charcoal, whatever, chemical coal, and that is much more costly and has nothing to do with sustainability. And when it comes to saving water, there's no contradiction saying that an intelligent fitting needs less water on a day-to-day basis because it has inbuilt intelligence, or if a cistern works with 4.5 or 6 or 7 instead of 6 or 7.5 liters, if you have the right kind of toilet and the right-sized waste pipe. At the same time, you can provide for flushing functions so that the user's installations flush and drain off water whenever they're on holiday. This is not a contradiction in terms. On the contrary, we have many solutions that allow for this, and many of these solutions can be found on our pages, on the manufacturer's pages.
Manufacturer side, on the novelty side. And we have anchored down these various subject matters accordingly at the ISH, and hygiene is included in many products in many ways. Well, it's a great combination. Hygiene and sustainability, not only in saving water by touchless valves and fittings where you can save energy, it's also the case in other places in the bathroom, for example, water closet, flush-free, touch-free, use of less toilet paper and so on and so forth. Hence, quite a range of examples from the bathroom, by means of which we can show that hygiene and sustainability fit together well. And that's a very good sympathetic effect in this trend. Well, you cannot always separate everything very clearly. It also depends. Smart technology, we've heard what happens in this technology, the installation standing behind it, and we show it here too. That plays a very important part. Well, the topic of the shower water closet will be presented in a minute, because this is one special example of these activities. So various components contribute to all these matters here. Also in drinking water hygiene. You also talked about flushing systems, leakage protection, water preparation, water processing. Is that also a topic? Well, different things are meeting. Temperature makes sure that change of water takes place regularly, and thus water keeps its high quality. Touchless protects from crossover infection, but in the private realm, it's a problem which is not sufficiently known. Water need to flow. Leakage is interesting. We have water management systems. With that, a school building can be closed down over the night. And now you ask about the change of water. Well, the system would open the leakage protection valve every 3 days, cares for the flush of the system, and then it closes again. Hence, you have both in combination, because if no one is in the building for 6 weeks, that's the highest probability for things to fail. Well, private homes left alone for 6 weeks, well, that is not feasible for everyone. But nowadays, everyone is happy to have a chance to leave the house. But of course, they also want to come back into a healthy home with an easy flow of water. Let's now continue with personal hygiene after having talked about drinking water. But there's also the shower water closet. There's a short contribution which I want to show, reporting about the potentials of shower water closets and what they have installed for us. So please, let's take a look at it. Well, we're standing here in the house of Geberit, a house which is almost completely made of Geberit products. And this year we present novelties and innovations from the world behind and in front of the wall. There's Margit Harsch with me, the head of our water closet shower business, head of the Geberit Aqua Clean, and of course he dedicates her efforts also very much to hygiene. Nice to have you here. Well, since the beginning of the corona pandemic, hygiene has become even more important for people. They have become much more sensitive for it, although it has always been an important part of our life, plays an important role. Considering the bathroom, which aspects of hygiene are most important there? Well, hygiene in the bathroom does not include quick and efficient cleaning of the bathroom facilities, but also the cleaning of our own body, hence personal hygiene. Let's consider the various areas: the washing place, the shower, and the water closet. If we have dirty hands, we move automatically to the water basin, we open the tap, and we clean us with water. We did sports, we were sweating, we want to get fresh and clean again, so we go under the shower and use water for cleaning. In the third case, we sit on the W closet, do our thing, we are ready, and we rub with a dry paper, which is not really clean. A very clear picture. Why doesn't think about the fact that this is unhygienic, this way of cleaning? Well, it's a ritual. We are taken up with it. Our parents trained us that we should clean ourselves with paper after using the toilet. So why questioning this practice, which functioned for decades? But once you think it's true and compare it to hygiene behavior in other areas of the bathroom, then after the cleaning with paper, you don't feel well. But what does it mean from a health perspective? Well, given the mechanic pressure we use when cleaning with paper, we don't only rub the dirt, but we rub it into our skin, which can use to irritation, or the germ may develop, and lack of hygiene may be the beginning of disease. So why doesn't every customer change automatically to shower or water closet? Well, hygiene is a very delicate personal thing, and the shower water closets are not yet known to many people. Some of the people have heard about it. Many have not used it because they fear unknown things. Maybe you just need to try it out because the feeling of freshness opens totally new horizons. Well, horizons is a good catchword, so let's expand it. Let's look out into the world where, according to your opinion, people handle the aspect of hygiene most positively. Well, Japan is well known for high awareness of hygiene. More than 80% of the toilets are shower water closets. In Europe, we are still away from that, but there's also a growing demand. So if you build a new bathroom or if you renovate it, you should use the most recent technology of the water closet shower and at least install the connections to make sure for future years that you need to renovate fully anymore. I'm sure that we are at the beginning of a new trend. As kitchen was equipped with a dishwasher and the like, every WC will have a shower function also soon. Now, if people deal with this issue and take the decision in favor of a shower water closet, then a moment will come sooner or later which model to choose. So the most essential function is cleaning with water. Is there other differences in the shower jet? Yes, big ones. Well, we have our combined system. There's a shower jet, and because of the circulating water movement, it cares for smooth, soft cleaning. Since the sensation is different for every person, the strength of the jet, the position, and the water temperature can be adjusted individually. Now, if you have a bathroom, which you don't want to renovate completely, but you want to have a shower water closet, what can you do? Well, there are different possibilities. If a current Geberit Sigma function is built in. You have an integrated empty pipe. In the models before 2013, this empty pipe is lacking. In this case, on each AquaClean device, there's a fitting connecting device. And with a subtle cable duct, this can be connected to the device. Both power and water access can be covered without interfering in the structure, which is attractive for rental homes. If you have a less nice flush element, you can build in this Geberit element. So there are always clever solutions to install AquaClean facilities. Hence, the technical and the crafts type options are there. Now, the question again, how come that so few people build in such a shower water closet? Well, from our interviews, we know that people fear the price. If we ask what they think, what it costs, they are not sure, or they take the price of the most expensive product. But there are different models. Shower water closets are available already for below 1,000 or for 1,500 as a complete system. Hence, this can be compared with things from daily life, like a smartphone, a TV set, or an e-bike. We not use the shower water closet daily, but you fit it to your bathroom for decades. So enough theory. Let's move over to the exhibition and take a look at the products in practice. Here you have our Geberit Aqua Shower systems. All our AquaClean devices offer subtle cleaning and decalcification function. It doesn't play a major role in Asia, but here in Europe and especially in Germany, given the water hardness, this is indispensable. And this should not be forgotten when buying a showered water closet. That's a very important clue. Now, what is the performance of the individual equipment? Well, for Geberit AquaClean Classic, there's an oscillating shower jet and controlled by app. It can be used as an additional appliance or with a fitful rim frame ceramics. And it's the perfect shower water closet for tenants. If we want to have a little bit more, then we move to a Geberit AquaClean Sailor. It has a puristic, elegant design, and apart from the outstanding shower function, it has the unique technology of the turbo flush. Turbo flush cleans the ceramics very smoothly and efficiently, so you don't need the brush, or at least not so often, which is also a plus from a hygienic point of view. And if you want to have the best from the best, well, the absolute highlight of the shower water closet is the AquaClean mirror. The element suspended in front of the wall has a whole bundle of functions of feeling well, going far beyond the scope of water. There's orientation light, seat, heat up, hot air function, and the turbo flush, with many more additional functions which make life more pleasant and more hygienic. And thus, that every day. If I didn't already have one, I would now get one latest now. Well, so thanks a lot for this interesting insight into this world of the shower water closets, which make our things easier and more hygienic. Well, more information on Geberit AquaClean and many more exciting things around the bathroom you get at the Geberit Innovation Days, and you find details on it on your local Geberit homepage. For today, we say nice to have you with us, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ja, Sie haben Informationen über das
Well, we received some information about the shower toilet. Now, decades ago, when I heard about a shower toilet for the first time, when I used it, I was enthusiastic. I thought, this is a product group that will be successful quickly. What happened? Now, the rimless toilets became successful very soon, and in Germany, the cleanliness of the toilet is more important than that of their own behind. But I have to say, Dirk Engel, why is it so difficult? I mean, maybe that's the wrong word because I see it appearing in bathrooms all over, but building developers there was a developer in a more expensive housing segment who had never heard of a shower toilet, and nothing was found in that building. How come? Why isn't it as widespread as it should be? That's a good question. There are several answers to this. Many things have been mentioned in that little video. We are talking about very intimate hygiene. We're talking about people who are used to use dry paper for a long time, so that everything is spread in the same way, in a harmonious way, and it's more expensive. And I've been hearing about this topic ever since I've started working for Geberit at the very beginning, when we started out with the AquaClean shower toilets. We started studying them more intensively. We had the situation that there were some tradesmen who were red in the face, and they said, I cannot talk to the final customer about intimate hygiene. I can talk about a steam shower or a whirlpool bathtub, but not toilets, but not shower toilets. And many found it difficult to talk about such things. But now we find ever more people who travel to Asia, for instance, on a job assignment in Japan. You find many shower toilets, and they come in contact with this, and they find it great, and they like it. And there are hotels who offer that, wellness hotels, more expensive hotels, where people can test these toilets in an intimate environment, and they find this very nice, and they would like to have it at home too. Step by step, we find more companies offering shower toilets. Geberit is the company that has been offering shower toilets since 1978. We're in the business the longest, and there's something for every taste, really. And bit by bit, trades people, craftsmen see that this is a way of selling toilets, of earning money, whether they sell a rimless toilet or one with the shower function, they earn more, and it's good for their customers too. But it's true, we haven't reached the end of the way, but we are moving in the right direction. Now, we heard about sustainability yesterday. Certain topics have been around for such a long time, but there is always a time when topics mature. Maybe the younger generation will pick up on this. Like with sustainability, today people speak more openly about very intimate things, and maybe people feel readier to talk about such things and to test things. Months ago, we did a podcast interviewed on intimate hygiene and shower toilets, and when you ask people on the street, there's an interest, but there is a lot of uncertainty in terms of what exactly does it do, how does it work. But those who have it are the best multipliers, really. So if you don't have one, buy one. And if you haven't installed one yet, advertise it. And I'd like to shed light into more issues. This has to do with the smart bathroom, and always, the context of hygiene. For senior citizens, hygiene is important. Barrier-less bathrooms are important for elderly people. With an analysis function, we've seen shower toilets at trade shows, all kinds of ways of using water to better your health. Now, how about the difference in the private realm or public realm, including hotels? hospitals. Are these two worlds, or is there a cross-fertilization, so to say? Well, these are two worlds. Many mayors have learned that they have to make sure that in sports venues, the water is exchanged regularly, also during the holidays and during, the lockdown. And this cannot be done on the cheap with staff. Everybody knows that. So in many areas, electronic systems are being used, and they're networked. And in this way, the facility manager can control all municipal buildings in terms of the water change, and they can look at the temperature sensors, and they can make sure that the water is in the right temperature range. Cold water needs to be cold, hot water needs to be hot. And then you won't run into the problems. In private households, we're still a far cry from that. But I think progress is being made with kitchen and women. Well, kitchen and women, careful what you say. Yes, I also work. But in many cases, women are more sensitive to hygiene matters. And this is what I see in here. And their kitchen fittings which have one lever, but there are also ones which are touchless. And you make meatballs, and you touch the lever, and you can terminate the lever. I can use contact fittings too, and that makes much better sense. It's more hygienic, and I think this is a way of making progress, because this fitting realizes if there's an interruption in the use of the fitting, and it flushes, and it can make sure that the water stays Legionella free. And the other trend that we see in hotels is that ever more experts recommend electronic fittings if a big apartment building is contaminated with Legionella, to provide for water change once flats are empty because of a holiday or something. So we'll see more electronics in the bathroom. I'd like to talk about the private bathroom. I'd like to mention something with regards to the smart bathroom. The shower toilet is a great example. It gives me many possibilities. I can control it via an app. So my personal profile, as far as the water temperature and the jet strength is concerned, I can store that information at the push of the button. I can take my profile to my in-laws, for instance, who may have the same shower toilet, because I can trigger the shower toilet with an app. We have the older generation of the the silver surfers, who like to press a button, but there are young people who say, I live in a digital way and I want to use the bathroom digitally too, and they control everything via the app. We have additional functions like orientation lights or odors being removed, and this makes the bathroom safer, because as you go into the bathroom, the orientation light goes on, and it's nice that maybe number two, the bathroom, and doesn't smell badly because the odor is removed in the toilet. That makes sure that I can breathe free. These are things that we can do already to improve comfort or safety, and this is a great example, Frank, when it comes to smart bathroom, I think these things kind of tend to overlap. But we talked about, living bathroom has to do with hygiene too. If I spend more time in such a bathroom with new materials, the hygiene requirements will not decrease, they may increase. Well, yes, with living bathroom, we want to increase the quality of staying in the bathroom. In the morning, we spend some time here. Sometimes there may be a carpet. From the hygiene point of view, that's a challenge, of course. But you have to make sure that you change that more often instead of every 10 or 15 years. But I think as far as the products are concerned and the innovation is concerned, a private bathroom can be made touchless. The toilet lid will go up automatically. We have movement sensors. fittings can be controlled in a contactless way. So soap dispenser is possible without any contact. So a four-member family, I calculated, if you wash your hands 17 times a day under corona conditions, it helps you to save water, especially hot water, but you can optimize that. And 70 times a day washing your hands in a four-member family, this adds up. And it's not just interesting for the family, but for all generations. And I think hygiene is very exciting. And for the bathroom planning, it's quite interesting. It's an interesting starting point for the installer architect. And the latter can, talk about this when they talk to the customer. And of course, I just mentioned that the people, that talk to development to developers, building developers, they should also inform the building developers of these aspects. Well, there's not much time left. Are there any other hygiene aspects that we haven't talked about yet? For instance, in hospitals, there are other hygiene aspects that Peter, you talked about the Charité Hospital in Berlin, where you learned new things. Well, you want to talk about it? Yes. The Charité Benjamin Franklin Hospital in Berlin, they are building a new surgery, but the floors below and the pipes, the shafts are the old ones. And if you have cold water pipes there, what happens? That the Charité decided to install a water management system that flushes every 24 hours. At the same time, the temperature is monitored. If the temperature of the cold water is too hot, then they flush again, because in surgery, temperature, so hygiene is all important. Or in a hotel, if the water tap smells, or the water has been drained for a long time, and sometimes, when the air trap smells, it's contaminated. So the air trap should be cleaned or flushed to clean out the bacteria. This is, again, something that we have to look at, because the medical area, the water jet must not hit the air trap, because the bacteria will be dispersed. You find them on the hands of the staff and of the people, and in the drinking water, because bacteria can reach the drinking water installation if the fitting is not used. So this is information that speaks for electronic fittings, not just in hospitals or hotels, but in the private area too, in holiday homes that stay empty for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've learned one thing from this talk, open up your taps, let the water flow. And that's important in addition to the bottom products made by our manufacturers. Thank you for your expert knowledge. Thank you, Frank. And stay healthy with fresh drinking water. The quality is provided. Make sure the quality remains the way it is. And under Pop-Up My Bathroom DE, you'll find more information. We have an Instagram channel. We have a chat. The chat at popupmybathroom.de, and look at the websites of the manufacturers, and you'll find lots of information to make sure your bathroom stays healthy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.